Hello and welcome to the Edge of Midnight channel. I am Jason, your host. I apologise for any dog barking sound, but such is the nature of things. I created this channel as a sort of therapy for myself. A way to be out there without actually being out there. Some may think that's a good idea, others may think it's a bad. For me, it's all I can do at the moment. I wanted to talk about Paola. To me, she was an amazing woman, and if you read the story of what she had to deal with, hopefully you'd think the same yourself. She fought every day of her life. Every day of her adult life, she was in pain. She suffered more than most people ever will, and that's a good thing because, really, I wouldn't wish that on my enemies. Not that I have any enemies. I hope I don't have any enemies. I mean, come on, the universe itself is giving me enough heartache. I don't need anybody actually down here focused on doing anything unfortunate. People ask me how I could do what I did. People say, "Oh, I couldn't do that in your position." When you're in my position, when you've got someone who you love, and I mean truly love, I'm not talking about the Mills and Boons versions of love or the romantic, newly got together type of love. I'm talking about true love. I'm talking about you don't think as I anymore. You think as we. There is no decision making. There is no, oh, if I look after her, then I'm going to have to finish my job. I won't have a career. What about my dreams? No. If it's true love, if you're with the person you're meant to be with, your mind doesn't even have a discussion. The person you love needs you. The person you love needs you to crawl over hot coals. You will do it because that person matters to you more than your own life. When Paola was told she had a death sentence at 21, when they told her, "We can't cure this cancer, and the medication that's going to be used to keep it away is probably going to kill you in the end," I was in shock. I was like, I couldn't get past the word cancer. She was 21 years old. This kind of thing does not happen. Paola just looked at the doctor and said, "Okay, what now?" She was instantly ready to fight, ready to take the next step. You've told me what you can't do, what can you do? And when someone gives you that kind of example, what can you do? You just grab onto the coattails and you go for it. And I don't regret any moment of those 21 years spent with Paola. We did everything we could. My apology, that's the dogs. But you were warned. She was all about life. Very quickly, the medication took away her ability to walk. It took away her ability to have strength in her hands. But she never let it get to her. She loved to paint, as you can see from some of these pictures. And when painting big pictures became too much for her, she started painting small, postcard-sized pictures. She would carry around in her wheelchair a little tiny set of paints and a little notepad. And she always had a camera so that she could take pictures and then paint from them. All of the pictures you see on this slideshow that are outside and outside the house, she took while the actual wheelchair was in motion. She didn't like me stopping and started. She preferred to keep moving. So she got very good at actually taking moving shots. And I've said it before, but she never had a fake smile. There was no secrets between us. If she was having a bad day, she'd let me know. But that is why you see so many smiles, because she appreciated life and she always fought. I don't think I'm as strong as she is, or she was. I was strong because the love of my life was fighting something that she couldn't beat. I took her onto the canal. I bought us a boat for the canal. Okay, that boat fell apart 48 hours later. That's a story for another little talk. But what Paola never knew, I think she guessed it though, I was terrified of water, absolutely terrified of water. At 12 years old, before my father died, I was at the local swimming baths and some kid ran out of the changing rooms, pushed me, and I went into the bath. I couldn't swim, and they noticed me on the bottom. I had stopped breathing. They got me out, they restarted my breathing, and I'm here. But that left quite a thing to do with water. But I could push her wheelchair down the canal, no problem, because of her. I could get on a boat and deal with locks and go run the canals because I was with her. My fears, my terrifying fear of water never came into it. And it was the same when I was doing dialysis, when I was trained to do her dialysis. Her example showed me what I should be doing. And believe me, looking after someone at home and doing dialysis, you have to be so stringent on cleanliness and that, because literally you could kill the person you're looking after. And so we were a team. She made me a much better person. I learnt so much from her. And the world is a lesser place because she's gone. I mean, I know people say you don't talk ill of the dead, but some people are idiots. Some people are complete and total assholes, and the world's better off without them. Paola wasn't like that. She once went into hospital and she was in so much pain she could hardly move. She was in there because she had gained a lot of water weight due to her kidneys failing. and literally she could hardly get onto the bed in the ward. She was almost completely disabled at this time. She was carrying 20 kilograms of extra water. That's 20 kilograms of extra water in her body. Once again, the dog's as if on cue. And I found out that that night she dragged herself out of her bed into her wheelchair and spent the night keeping all the other people in the ward company. When I asked her about it, she said they looked lonely. That was who she was. That was what she was like. Her illness and the damage to her hands due to the arthritis meant that she couldn't do much. She had to limit herself. Although she was stubborn and she always went too far and caused herself pain. But that's what I loved about her. She fought every step of the way and wouldn't give in to anything. She used to make cards, and she'd have to plan it 8 months ahead to send those cards to friends, because she could only work about 15 to 30 minutes at a time before her hands would cramp up completely. And if she did too much, she would be in bed for a couple of days. So she would plan 8 months before Christmas so that she could get everybody's cards done. And every year they were unique. Every year she would create a new theme. And they never knew how much effort she put in. She never let me tell them. She did jewellery craft. Every time one of her crafts became too hard, she wouldn't give up. She'd say, okay, what can I do next? She'd go on YouTube and find some new crazy craft that she wanted to try. She was an example to all of us. When we whine about a problem with our internet, or the buzzies being late, or politics, when we spend our time being unhappy and negative and jealous and envy and greed, that isn't who we are. That isn't who we should be. No one has to be perfect. Nobody has to be perfection. But if someone is facing death, someone at 21 years old has their entire world, their entire life taken away, because she actually wanted to be a librarian. She was taking English Lit and a few other subjects. She wanted to be a librarian, she wanted to study history, and she wanted to be an archaeologist. Those were her dreams. And at 21, it was all taken away from her. She wasn't a sick child. She didn't abuse her body. She didn't drink or smoke. She didn't do anything that could have caused this. It just happened. See, that's the point. When I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling depressed, when I'm disconnected from everything and nothing seems real and I can't even take one more step, I think about her. I think about the nights where she only got 2 hours sleep a night. I think about the times when her body completely revolted against her and she couldn't eat because every time she ate, her throat would close up. I think about how she still smiled, how she went to every one of those appointments and tests with a smile on her face. And she must have been so fatigued. All the time she spent watching programs with me, watching films, all the time she spent finding the next show for us to watch. When we watched all the Marvel films which we adored. She was amazing to me. She was a hero. And that's why this channel exists. That is why I take one more step. That is why I'm doing these videos. That is why I am so happy about starting to play the Division 2 and finding that I actually want to play it, that I've found something that I can still do. Because getting this story out matters. I want to thank you all for listening. I wish and hope that you're all having a good day. But one more bit of advice, and this is the important bit. If you listen to nothing else I've said, this is the important bit. If there's someone out there that you love, if there's someone out there that you care for, let them know. Spend time with them. It doesn't matter whether you have much money, it doesn't matter. Grand gestures are not needed. Waiting for Valentine's Day is not needed. Waiting for Christmas is not needed. Spend time with them. Let them know. There's lots of things you can do together, just sitting on a sofa watching a film together. You're spending time with that person who matters to you the most, because there's one truth, only one true piece of truth that I can tell you now. One day, some point in time in your future, will be the last day that you see them. So just spend time with them, do what you can together, and make sure every day that you let them know that you love them and they matter. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody is. No one's relationship is. You just need to make sure that you know each other, that you love each other. And that's it. This is Jason for the Edge of Midnight channel, signing off now.